Welcome to Wrestling Ruined Our Marriage Season 1, Episode 2. So we were going to go over Raw and SmackDown this week, but a lot of it was kind of overshadowed by the return of CM Punk. 7 years, baby!
It was really cool to see. That pop was amazing.
Probably the loudest, pop from a crowd I think I've ever heard. I mean, when you're talking about massive pops that I have seen, they always talk about the Road Warrior pop. I didn't watch that. I wasn't. It was before my time. But Triple H coming back from injury when he tore his legs up back in the day when he had the leather, the denim and leather jacket. Back when The Rock and everybody were in there. That was probably... I hated him. I was young. Loved The Rock at the time. And hated Triple H. And I remember the entire crowd going psycho. And I was like, why is anybody cheering for this guy? That was really loud. I think The Rock can get anybody in the entire audience to go crazy. CM Punk's got to be right there with that intro. And they played it right. I mean, they put him in his hometown, in Chicago. Crowd going nuts.
It was so loud you couldn't even hear his music. It was just insane. I couldn't believe it. And I loved how he came out and he sat down in the middle
Soak
of
it all in for a minute.
It was way cool.
7 years and free ice creams for the crowd. He's great on the mic. I mean, he even said when he came back down, I didn't script any of this. I needed to feel it. I'm sure there was some kind of, hey, eventually you have to lead into Darby Allin, which we'll see how CM Punk can perform. He's still in shape. I mean, he was doing the UFC thing. Didn't do a great job at the UFC thing, but tried really hard. And in his age, just kind of going in there and winging it, good on him for a good effort. You can't say that he didn't put his all into it.
Yeah, he definitely had a rough go in the UFC, but he's so loved by the wrestling community. Like, all the fans just love him. So
there was a comment where Roman Reigns was being interviewed. I can't remember if it was what the other place that was interviewing him was called. I think it's Out of Character. I might be wrong on that. But anyways, they were interviewing him earlier this week, and they were asking him kind of his thoughts on CM Punk. And Roman had said, he was a little bit full of himself, and he didn't believe that CM Punk was as big of a superstar as your John Cena, The Rock, etc. Which, I don't know. He kind of has a point because he's not going to be on the Hollywood level. He's not going to bring in the money that John Cena is right now with all of his films. The Rock has out-earned almost anybody. I mean, he's a superstar worldwide, everything. But when it comes to just wrestling fans and your wrestling base, it's hard to compete with CM Punk. 7 years, and there's not an episode of Raw, I don't even think SmackDown, but definitely Raw, that goes by where you do not hear the crowd start chanting CM Punk at some point. And he made definitely a good effort to emphasize that he's been hearing them, he's felt them, and he just was waiting for the right opportunity to come back. And I hope he can put on a few good matches. You got great talent over there to be able to help. I mean, he's a great talent, but now you have young talent that can help elevate him as he's getting older if he needs it.
Definitely. I have a question, though, because we kind of watched SmackDown. We had SmackDown on one screen, and we had AEW on another screen.
Wrestling all over the house.
Yeah. Do you think that there was, a huge difference between the crowds, the energy and how...
AEW has more energy, I think, on a nightly basis.
Yeah, so it was kind of great. That's how I felt, too. It's just such an energy pop to watch.
Yeah, I think you have
AEW, and then all of a sudden click on SmackDown, where the crowd was pretty loud on SmackDown. It was a good episode. And
they were definitely bringing their best out to compete, to try and bring some kind of fans and some storylines in to compete with AEW. But I think if you're WWE, you have to know you're competing against CM Punk that night, and you have to chalk that up as a loss. Now, is it a long-term loss where SmackDown's going to lose out on the ratings every single week because CM Punk's there? Time will tell. I think you expect to lose this one. You're like, okay, we're going to do some good stuff, but we are definitely going to lose some fans. We're going to tune in for CM Punk to see if he's going up against Sting, Darby Allin.
That's a good story.
Half of WWE fans are still cheering for CM Punk, so you're going to lose some stuff over there.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how they're going to top that. It's hard to top CM Punk right now, and they're going to have a big pop at SummerSlam, a big surprise or big something to really...
I don't know if you need a big surprise. I just think you need quality. I think SmackDown can stay consistent enough. Raw, again, we talked last week, they need better storylines to be able to get it. The other part I'm just going to touch on for a quick second before we jump back into all WWE, I believe, is, man, I love Chris Jericho.
I do too.
And him coming out, you're not allowed to have the Judas song playing, the crowd picking up. Imagine being just one, all these people coming and paying to see you. Now there's other people on AEW. There's other people that they like. MJF is a great guy too. Chris Jericho is a ticket seller. He puts asses in seats. He's there, and for them, they're there to see you. They're there to see your match, and they're there to see a brand that you helped build. And now a song that your band created and, put together and put out there, they're singing their hearts out for you. To have that many people, cheering just for you, that has to be a pretty crazy feeling. That'd be awesome.
Definitely crazy. Well, and I remember we were at the last show that they had before they shut down everything in 2020, and even that crowd, as small as it was, because people were not going out to those events, it was still so loud to hear everyone in the arena just screaming that song. He couldn't even help but smile. He walked out, smiled, stopped, smiled again. I mean, it was cool.
I think that was a Raw episode right before Rudy Gobert decided to shut down the NBA with COVID.
Yep. It was like that afternoon that night we saw the message that all the NBA games were canceled, but we were at
I think that was a house show, right?
Yeah, it was a house show. But we went to it was the last show they had before everything got closed down.
I had a nice MJF shirt that said "Fuck them kids." It was nice for his little theme that was going around then.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I'll have to bust it out.
We had a lot of people be like, "Oh, that's such a cool shirt." It was cool. It was a fun place. Like the fans for AEW.
We even went, to be honestly.
Oh, really? Well, I remembered. But the fans they're kind of more edgy. It feels like than Raw and SmackDown. We've been to several Raw and SmackDown shows before, and it's very much so the PG. PG. You can't yell things. You can't.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes came out, made it pretty cool at the end. I remember now.
Yeah,
I sang Happy Birthday to Brandy.
Yeah, it was
her
fun.
birthday or was it his birthday?
I think it was the Young Bucks.
I sang Happy Birthday to somebody.
Not that it matters. Anyway.
Back to it. So, those two were both awesome. AEW was great. We'll see what they can end up doing. So, back to Raw. Raw starts off with Randy Orton coming out. Bobby Lashley, man, he doesn't get anything right. Even Goldberg isn't really putting his storyline together that much. Randy Orton's the show. They need to figure out something there. We're going to do a SummerSlam, guesses.
Bobby Lashley has the talent, so it's...
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I think he does.
He has the body.
No, I think in order to be part of WWE, you have to be able to wrestle, and I think he knows how to. It's just storyline is put together pretty sloppily.
He's a crappy character. I don't even know what his character is. One day he's dancing with 5 girls, next day he's drinking champagne. Now he's back to...
There's nothing wrong with drinking and dancing champagne.
Right, but I don't know. He needs more. Hopefully they can get something going. I think the Hurt Business, that was the best thing they had going. Anyways, That's my touch on that. Even Goldberg isn't really pulling this storyline together. They're bringing his kid into it. You have MVP there. They need something. When we do our SummerSlam episode, please, Big E, come cash in on Mr. Bobby Lashley. So Randy comes out. Of course, he gets the pop from the crowd. He ended up hitting Mr. Riddle with the RKO the week before to close out the show. Mm-hmm. And now he's saying, well, I did it because I've always been a solo competitor. I don't need anybody. Riddle comes out. He's like, hey, man, I forgive you. It was just a teaching moment. We should be grouped together. All of a sudden, here comes AJ and Omos, and the match starts off, and Randy bails on him, right?
Yeah, he's getting the crap kicked out of him, and Randy's like, bye.
He leaves.
He stops, so, as he's walking out, he, stops and looks and keeps walking and stops and looks.
Battling eternally.
Yeah, an eternal battle. But he didn't, at the end, he just didn't give a crap and left.
So by the end of the show, we'll kind of jump a little bit all over, but by the end of the show, he's getting beat up. Riddle comes back out. Riddle ends up saving him again, and he says, you've earned my respect. Let's do this. And all of a sudden, bam, RKO is back together. All is well for now. And we'll have the tag team championships on the line. I hope that they win the tag champs. AJ Styles needs to be with somebody else. Get rid of this almost experiment with him. You can keep the experiment there. Just stop tying AJ Styles to him. Get him back in singles or get him with somebody... that's just as talented as he is. You're going to be hard-pressed to find it, and get him into something great there.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much that storyline. Another one on here is you have the women's match. It was Nikki Ash versus Mrs. Ripley with Charlotte on commentary.
Yeah,
Nikki loses clean. She loses the match cleanly. No interruptions, no nothing. So you have your WWE Women's Champion, right? And she gets pinned by one of the people that are in the match cleanly. Usually when the champion gets pinned, they don't get pinned for one. But if they do...
It's not a clean win.
It's not a clean win. So I was kind of surprised they did that. And then obviously...
I think they're setting it up for a Becky Lynch return at SummerSlam.
I didn't even think about Becky Lynch. But, well, yeah, good thought. Maybe.
I don't know. That's just my thought. I think... You could see, in my head, I could see...
We're going to do a SummerSlam spoilers.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll stop talking. But I think that's what they're kind of setting it up for. You know, she's going to lose at SummerSlam. That's why she lost cleanly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the big takeaway from that is... my whole takeaway from that match was I was surprised that she lost cleanly.
Yeah.
But she's going to try harder and inspire everybody. Next up on the list...
Ash. A-S-H.
Nikki A-S-H. Next up on the list here is, man, Drew and his big old sword. Big sword dangling Drew.
Yeah, I kind of feel...
I feel like if you have a sword that big, you could do anything.
Well, apparently he thinks so, too. I don't know. I'm kind of over the whole sword crazy story thing. I don't know.
Do ladies like a man with a big sword?
I like a man in a kilt, so...
The sword might fall out the kilt.
I think that's all Drew McIntyre needs is just the kilt.
I can't remember which commentator it was on there, but one of them was saying, if you got a big sword, you can have all the confidence you want in the world. So we'll see where this storyline goes. You have Jinder and Drew. I don't know, the storyline's all right. They'll probably put on a pretty good match.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty decent on there. We'll see what guys, they have the guys keep coming in.
All in all, I didn't hate everything that happened on Raw.
Yeah, I just don't know. I guess my big thing, they've already destroyed one of the swords before, but it was the fake replica. Then the bike got destroyed, and now he's still coming out swinging the sword around. What's the end goal here? Like, what's the finish with the sword? What are they going to do there?
Yeah.
I don't really get the whole point of that on there. But I think that'll be a pretty decent match. Flying through here. We get the Moist TV with Mr. Drip Drip himself and special guest, first guest ever, The Miz.
Yeah.
So funny side note, The Miz got, eaten alive, a couple pay-per-views earlier by zombies right before he...
Yeah, it was like back in May, he was eaten alive by zombies.
Yes.
It's so weird. I don't even know where they were going with that, but, well, I mean... Obviously, Batista had his show coming out on Netflix, and that's why they did it. But it was just, it didn't make sense to me, other than the fact that Batista had a show coming out. I
forgot about the zombies at the time. Miz comes out. He's ready to roll. He sits down next to Morrison there, and my son comes in and goes, "Is that the guy that got ate by zombies, Dad? He's alive still?"
Yeah, he was confused.
He was the zombie guy. So, anyways, pretty decent setup there. I still don't, they were setting up for, it was going to be the split between, Miz and Morrison. The Damian Priest comes out. Morrison abandons Miz. You think it's split up. You think it's over. Everything goes down. You have Sheamus out there on commentary. You have everything kind of mixing. I still don't get the whole mess that's going on there. But
I don't either, because Damian Priest seemed, well, like we said in our last episode, 1 minute he's, talking to, is it Matt Riddle? To get him away.
I think it's just Riddle now. They got rid of the man.
Riddle. But he's talking to Riddle about getting away from Randy Orton, and he's a bad influence, and then all of a sudden he's back in the storyline with The Miz and John Morrison, and then you have another storyline with him with Sheamus. It's just kind of like...
He's all over.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I don't hate it. I think that they should continue this little feud with John Morrison and The Miz and Damian Priest. I think they all have pretty good connection, I like it. I
liked Morrison
the
and
lumberjack
Ricochet.
Zombie thing. Yeah.
Those guys are athletic and they put on some good matches.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Morrison leaves, they go in the back, Miz is like, "Oh man, you left me." They, kiss and made up. So they're good to go. That kind of pulled it all together. I guess they're going to get back together and do something, but I think they eventually need to let Morrison kind of go on his own run.
He needs to. He deserves that. I mean, he left WWE for a while, came back, and he's right back in the same position as he was before he left, as the Miz's sidekick.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, and it's okay because I think the Miz can, he can build anybody up and put him on the map. Who were the two guys that he had before? They're not even in wrestling anymore. But he had his two little sidekicks that were beating everybody up. It was Bray Wyatt's real life brother,
Bo Dallas. And was it? Oh, I can't remember.
I was just about to make a point that they put him over, but we can't even remember their names. But while they were on there, The bad thing is that other guy, he's like a third-generation superstar, too.
I want to look that up. Hang on.
Anyways, The Miz is pretty good at putting people over, even if we can't remember both of their names. He does a pretty good job. So it's not bad to get him, introduced, get him going. Now he's got Mr. Drip Drip going. Not the same Mr. Drip Drip as Mr. Fly Drip, Seth Rollins on SmackDown, but... he's got his drip drip with the little drip sticks going. Curtis Axel, that's the one. It was Axel and Bo Dallas. I couldn't remember
that to save my life. I remember Bo Dallas, but...
Yeah. See where both of them end up here soon.
Believable.
There you go. Believe in yourself. So that kind of flew through there. And, man, we're already almost done. Elias is dead.
I know. What do you think's happening? Like... Obviously, it's a character. They're going in and revamping his character.
I do not like Elias is dead. I liked Elias himself. I think they dropped the ball.
He loves Elias.
I want my body to look like Elias. I want to lift like Elias. I wish I could grow a beard like Elias, but none of this grows. I think Elias is a stud, man. And I think they had it great when he was, this crazy... rock star, lost and wild man there.
The Wanderer, yeah.
Yeah, they had that whole thing going, and I thought they missed their shot to strap the Intercontinental Championship around him. I thought they missed their shot to kind of really push him.
They were starting to push him, and then he was injured, and he was out for a while.
And now they got this new guy.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this new guy.
I thought they might have had a character there when he was talking about the military stuff, and you got military stuff going on right now. Jackson Riker?
Yeah.
So you had him, but I don't think he's better than Elias. I like Elias's look. I like the character. I like everything about it. I don't think...
I'm not sure.
I don't think he needs a full character change, but maybe parts of it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everyone liked when he came out and the lights dimmed and it was on his guitar. Everyone, walk with Elias. So
yeah, we'll see where that ends up. But he's burning guitars. Elias is dead.
Yeah.
Putting things up. So we'll see what he ends up doing. I think he's creative enough that depending on where they, what they give him here, he can probably pull off the next storyline too. But yeah. I feel like they have way worse characters that they hold on to longer.
Yeah, get rid of some really awesome talent to keep around.
I'm not just talking talent. I'm not saying get rid of performers altogether. I'm just saying even right now in WWE. No. I'm just talking characters. Like they keep. Nikki Ash or Nikki ASH, for example. You had a pretty cool character with her. I kind of like, the Ambrose Asylum back in the day. She was kind of a crazy character.
Yeah, she did.
They could have taken that, and I think it could have went a lot further than Mrs. Superhero.
I don't get this.
So you still have the same, that's what I'm saying, they still have the same talent there.
Yeah.
But they killed the character. I think the guy...
Sorry if you guys can hear some outside noise.
No, apologize for nothing.
We have some yard work being done right now.
So I think the character himself, Elias himself, the guy that portrays the Elias character, he's good enough to pull off anything, but I don't know that you needed to kill the Elias character there. I think they hold on to a lot of other stuff way longer than they should. What did they say, John Cena, 20 years missionary? They hold on and don't change anything for a long time. I think you can evolve your character, Undertaker, into...
Well, Bayley's a perfect example. She started out with her whole hug thing, and now she's
Yeah,
angry.
Get rid of that stupid character and just let her pick on Michael Cole.
Yeah, Michael.
Perfect
that's
example.
So funny.
I like the way you go there. So, wrap up Raw. Well, I guess we had a few things on there.
Karrion Kross versus Jeff Hardy.
Yep. And that's about all there is to say about that. Yep.
Yeah, I think everyone just wants to see Scarlett on there, right?
I've been telling you about Scarlett for a long time.
He likes Scarlett a lot. She's beautiful.
Welcome to Twitter.
But I think she adds that pop of character for Karrion Kross.
She adds a pop.
Karrion Kross, he was really cool over in NXT. Obviously, he's the champion, but he hasn't had
working.
Yeah, he doesn't have that push.
He
I
is
think
not
Scarlett kind
Goldberg.
of added a little zhuzh, if you will.
I think if he comes up there, that's another one. So I was saying they got rid of the last character too quick. His character is not going to work to me. You have the characters that will work for him. It's almost like he's trying to be a Goldberg type character where he walks in, he's not afraid of anybody. He's this big, intimidating guy. And he's a big guy, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to wrestling, he's not a big guy. There's no reason for anybody to be intimidated by him just because he is him. I mean, you have other people that have intimidating factors like Boogeyman. He's a big guy too, but he comes up eating worms. He's got this crazy makeup. He's kind of wild on there.
That was so gross. You remember when Jillian Hall had that weird growth thing on her face and the Boogeyman ate it? Ugh.
Crazy times.
So sick.
So you have that intimidation factor, or you have the Braun Strowman or the Goldberg intimidating factor, where they're just like these Brock Lesnar. There's these freaks of nature. You have big, you have wrestling big, and they're still an anomaly.
Yeah.
They're still huge. He's big, but he's not wrestling big. He's not intimidating anybody. He does not look, standing next to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's a pretty tall guy. He doesn't look like this big, intimidating guy next to Jeff Hardy. So why should anybody be afraid of him?
I don't think Jeff Hardy should lose to him either. Jeff Hardy's like a veteran. He should be.
Yeah. I don't. You don't think because he's a veteran he should lose, but Goldberg should never come on TV?
Well, I just like Jeff Hardy. I think he should
like Jeff Hardy
have more
too,
of a
but
push than what he has. And
he's done.
I like Jeff Hardy. What can I say?
So
me back to the 90s is what I remember.
That's one that in order for him to succeed, I think on the WWE level, which NXT, is WWE level too, but in order for him to succeed on Raw in this character that they're trying to push him to be and be championship level, I don't think that character works for him. He could be a good wrestler. He could be a good character for NXT. When you're coming on here, he's got to have something different. There's no reason why an AJ Styles should be afraid of him. They're probably more similar in size, but you're not going to walk into the ring right now with Bobby Lashley and have Bobby Lashley, Beast Bobby Lashley, be afraid of Karrion Kross. You're not going to have Lesnar come back and have him be afraid of Kross. These guys.
Well, I think they deflated his push anyway when he lost his first match to Jeff Hardy. They kind of deflated it. Had he won and then moved on to somebody else and won and continued on.
I don't think you use Jeff Hardy as a... I don't mind him losing there.
Then why would they have him lose to Jeff Hardy? To me, that just kind of deflated
I think
his
if you want... Yeah, and if you wanted his character to be this big intimidating factor, as much as people don't like it, you give him those smash matches. You give him these people that you barely know. He comes in, destroys them, and he moves on. You don't start him with somebody that the fans like that they're going to pop for.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense to me. They kind of deflated that. I feel like they're kind of notorious for things like this, though, where you have this really great opportunity to have a young talent coming up, a new talent coming up, and they kind of squash their...
You still watch.
Well, that's true.
And podcast now.
I know.
So you have him. I mean, we talked way too long about just him in and of itself, and same thing with Mansoor beats Mace. Whatever to me. I mean, if you all like that, then cool. Jump on the comments and talk about it then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the big thing. And then the last one is you have your Nia Jax and Charlotte. And
well, it's not the last one.
Well, you have the Goldberg thing on there, but we already covered it.
We had Alexa Bliss and Doudrop.
Yeah, that's coming up. Slow down.
Oh, sorry. I'm just really excited for that one.
That wasn't a match, man.
Okay.
So, the last piece over there was match-wise. You're going to have... your Nia Jax and Charlotte. Obviously, Nia Jax was the surprise opponent or surprise tag team partner.
Which I think she's kind of perfect for that because she's kind of a I don't give a damn character. Or at least
her hair looks better now.
I know. I really like it.
Looks better now on her.
I like her. I know that she's injured a couple of people and stuff like that, but I like her character and she's hilarious on Twitter. I think Nia Jax is way funny on Twitter. I get a kick out of watching her.
I dislike her.
And
she's awful to watch.
Shayna Baszler's in the back. They show her and she's shuffling her cards and stuff. So
the whole deck is nothing but spades. I caught on. I watched that.
She's the queen.
Right. So you kind of have that. I think Nia Jax would be better in that SmackDown ladies role, Sonya Deville's role. I think Sonya Deville's a better wrestler. I have not. Nia Jax. Although I like the Rikishi thing that she brought back over there in the match, tag match. Whole crowd started chanting Rikishi for a little bit.
That's
Anyway,
cool.
so she does the stink face. On Nikki, you have Nikki and Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte and Nia Jax. Nia's about to finish the match. She's setting it up to get the pin.
She had the win.
Charlotte tags herself in, doing the Charlotte thing, finishes off, wins. Everything's all great. Nia's not happy. We'll see how that translates into SummerSlam.
Yeah, I still think they're setting up for Becky Lynch's return.
And then, obviously, we kind of talked a little bit too. Let's go back to... I'm going to stay with Goldberg for a second. Goldberg and Lashley, they close out the show. Great. They finally closed out something. They haven't been opening.
They finally had the champion close out the show.
I still haven't bought in. Goldberg looks like I'm wondering... I don't know if it's just because he's standing next to Lashley. He's usually like really... he's a big guy, but he usually looks kind of like a massive, intimidating figure on TV too, and he looks like he's slimmed down, and I'm wondering, are they going to put him in more than like a 3-minute match, and he's slimming down to try and, have the conditioning for it, but he doesn't look as built this go-round to me, and maybe it's just he's getting old finally, I don't know, but we talked a little bit before, him and Lashley together, they're now bringing Goldberg's son in it.
I don't understand that angle.
You always got to bring.
Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Why they're bringing their son in.
Well, and he comes in and says, "Hey, you know your dad is, but now you want to see your dad. You want to see Goldberg in the ring." Oh. And the whole football team's there. And the son, I don't think he's. He had to have grown up in wrestling, but it doesn't seem like he's as into character as like Dominic.
Dominic was in it though, from like itty bitty all the way up, where Goldberg retired, was gone forever, and then all of a sudden came back. So.
And then last but not least, because it's her somewhat favorite, but also the one that makes her the most mad, we're just going to finish up with Eva Marie, Doudrop, and Alexa Bliss. So, story was Eva Marie wanted Doudrop to go retrieve Mrs. Lily doll
Lily
and bring her back to her. So, Doudrop goes in to get Lily. She grabs her. She sees something in Lily's face, gets terrified.
I have that happen every time I look at you.
There you go. Terrified in them eyes. So she drops the doll in fear, runs back to Eva Marie. Eva Marie is mad and basically slaps the hell out of Mrs. Doudrop.
Yeah, I don't like Eva Marie. I don't like her. I like Alexa. Don't really like the Lily doll.
They're trying. That's another one. Like,
I just hope.
What's the point of her? What's her character? Where's she going?
Who? Which one?
Eva. Doudrop's already kind of over. We already talked about that. Doudrop's more terrible name, but Doudrop, so close to Dingleberry. But Doudrop on there, like, she's already more over with the crowd than Eva Marie is. Alexa Bliss is obviously over. She's trying to carry Eva on there, but
Alexa Bliss is going to be a favorite. I think she's a big draw to Raw right now. And so I would hate for her to go into SummerSlam.
Is she?
I think she was at least. I used
feel
to
like every week that she's been working with Eva Marie, it's gotten. I think the hope was that she would elevate Eva Marie up and up, and even though, like, say Alexa's the good guy, and Eva Marie is such a bad guy, but like plays the character of a bad guy where you're getting booed out of the building and stuff. There's nothing there. She is.
Yeah.
You would be able to pull her off of Raw right now and basically never even remember that she was there.
Eva Marie.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I think Doudrop on there is going to end up being the superstar out of all of it.
I think there's very few people that are fans of Eva Marie, but yeah, she smacked the crap out of poor Doudrop. Doudrop walks over onto the playground, grabs the Lily doll. Alexa warns her, like, don't do that. And she holds the doll in front of her and then gives it back and walks away. And then it cuts back over to Eva Marie and Doudrop, and she's like, "I'm the doll." Whack, whack, whack.
So before we jump into our next podcast here, with that one and some of our pre-SummerSlam spoilers.
No, I got thoughts. I got lots of thoughts on that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they're going with this storyline. I
I think Alexa's going to mind manipulate Mrs. Dewdrop, and that's going to be her new little minion.
Maybe.
I hope that's
have
what's going to happen.
thought,
I feel like you slap Dewdrop, Eva's going to get smacked too.
I have a different thought, but I'll save that for, our prediction.
So that was a little all over the place, but that was pretty much the jumbled edition of Raw. We're going to cover SmackDown and then jump right into SummerSlam.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys.
See ya.
Bye.